One area that is critical for most organizations to successfully adopt when choosing a business process automation platform is security and governance. Security and governance entail many aspects, not just whether or not a user has access to submit a process. With K2, security can be implemented at both a very granular level and a very broad level. Similarly, when connecting to business data located in various systems, authentication to that information should be secure and utilize the standard authentication required by the service, all without duplicating or storing the data outside of the system of record. Once we've built all of our applications, it then becomes much more about how we manage and govern these solutions. In the K2 management space, it's a key site and aspect to the platform where you can centrally manage all of your solutions. This includes everything from managing your integration points with line of business systems and what you want to integrate with, and who is allowed to integrate and use those integration points and objects. This also includes everything from who is allowed to create and build K2 solutions to who can manage and run reports against those solutions as well. Virtually all aspects of the platform can be controlled and managed from the management space. In the platform, you can control down to a very granular level who has rights to view or even use the solutions within your K2 deployment and who has rights to build or modify a solution. This also includes self-service management because we might not always want to go to IT to do some very basic management type functions. For example, what if my workflow goes into an error state? How is it that the business is aware, can view details, or even resolve those without needing to involve IT to do so? Or even manage my versions and who has rights as an end user to interact with processes that I have built? These are all aspects that a citizen developer should be able to manage for an application. Based on the level of management rights you have, you are able to administer different aspects of the platform and solutions that you create. It's not just about empowering the business to build their own solutions, but about giving them the appropriate tools to help them serve and manage the solutions that they have built. Let's take a look at how security and governance can enhance two different perspectives: the end user or citizen developer, and then the IT administrator or system administrator. As the citizen developer, I want to be able to easily access the assets I need to build, run, and modify applications. Based on the permissions in place, I'm able to see all of the assets that I should in order to be able to interact with them, from both a design and a runtime perspective. With K2, this user can easily navigate through a portal, use a link to open a task through email, or open a worklist item. From the design side, they're able to easily modify or change the application based on a need requested by the business. And as a process owner, I can easily go and configure data sources without having to go and modify the application itself. K2 does all the heavy lifting to ensure the work is routed to the right person at the right time and that the user is able to get to the areas that matter most to them. As the administrator of a particular line of business system, I want to ensure that permissions to the data that resides in my system of record is accessed only by people with the proper permissions. In the K2 management space, I can create a connection to my system, and that connection will only surface objects for which I have proper permissions or the person accessing has permissions too. As the administrator, I can also implement authentication and access around integration objects so that a user only has access to build with objects that they have permissions to. In this way, I'm able to limit the ways in which they can reach the data as well as the objects that interact with the data. In this way, I'm able to protect the system of record and the data integrity and also connect the data to a critical process, all while using the standard authentication mechanism of that system of record. When it comes to security and governance, there are a few aspects we believe are critical. In the tooling, the solution should be centralized with the ability to manage integration securely. As the administrator, you should also be able to control access to key assets throughout your solutions, and also the deployment and the designer, but also be able to surface self-service management to process owners with the correct permissions. And lastly, We are backed by certifications from third party audits to ensure that our customers meet their own industry, regulatory, and internal compliance.